Hi, good afternoon. I'm Olivia and I'm going to be taking you through the Houzz 101, adding the Houzz social media icon to your website webinar. I know Emily was supposed to take this. Unfortunately, she actually couldn't make it, so I will be running you through this. So thank you for joining. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. I just will show you on the next page here. And everything today is about buttons and badges and how this can improve not only your website and the link between your website and your Houzz profile, but also just to really improve your visibility within Houzz. If at any point during the session today you can't hear me or the slides aren't advancing or you had any questions at all, we have another Olivia in this session as well, and she is here to answer any questions that you may have. So you should be able to see the Go to Webinar control panel. It might just be on the right-hand side for you or maybe down the bottom. In that, there is a section called Questions and another section called Chat. You can just post any questions in either of those and Liv will be able to answer those as best she can. But if you do miss anything at all or you had some more specific or longer questions, please don't worry because one, this is actually recorded today, so we can send you a recording of this whole webinar. And also we'll be online after and I'll give you our details at the end, so you can always just email us directly or book in a time for a quick chat. So what we're going to be going over today, kind of the objectives. One, I will just kind of introduce or reintroduce Houzz and the 5 layers to you. Then I'll dive into an overview of all the badges that are available. So that's Houzz buttons and badges, social media icons. I'll show you how your badge can improve your website and your Houzz profile ranking. And I'll just show you some easy examples of how to easily add a button, a badge, or a widget into your website. So you're all professionals and all do know Houzz. So you would know that Houzz is the world's largest online community for home design and renovation. And we're a really vibrant community that's basically powered by really strong social tools. Houzz has become this really easy way for people to get design inspiration, project advice, product information, as well as the professionals that they need to actually turn their design and home ideas into reality. So it was founded in the States. We do often get this question about 10 years ago by Adi and Alon. So they were a husband and wife that basically went through a terrible renovation on their first home. They bought their first home, this pink ranch, ugly kind of style house, and they decided to do a complete renovation of that home. They really struggled with this. They particularly struggled with articulating their own personal style, finding the right professionals, and finding the right products as well to really turn this house into their home. And they really saw that, hey, there is a gap in the market that we can definitely address. And from that, Houzz grew. So really from that foundation and from that frustration, Houzz, as we know it now, has grown. And we have grown to have these 5 key layers. So I'm sure you have all explored these 5 layers into some degree before, but just to give more of an overview, we do have photos, editorial, products, discussion, and services. And these are fantastic because they're really tied together with such smart technology that just ensures that Houzz is this real end-to-end solution for anything to do with home design, home building, and home decoration. So just to kind of fly through these 5 layers so you do understand them, because each of these layers is so important to Houzz overall. Our users explore each of these sections, and for you as a professional on the platform, each section is an opportunity for you to get more exposure. So more exposure of your work, your name, which leads people not only to your Houzz profile, but also to your website. So number 1, we have photos. So photos is the place where people spend the most amount of time on Houzz. We have 14 million photos uploaded to the site already, so a huge amount of content. The best thing about these photos is that they have all been uploaded by local designers and they are always credited back to you. So You'll notice that on every photo you see on Houzz, there is a watermark of your name, and it's not just a watermark, it is a link back to your profile too. So people, when they start saving photos into their idea books, they're not just kind of collating pretty photos that they like, they're also creating this short list of professionals that they want to work with, which is a really cool thing. You can see in here that on the left-hand side, there's a whole range of different filters. So people come in, they search by room type, style, color, location, budget, size, etc. And these really do make people's search results a whole lot more relevant to what they're looking for. And these are things that you can and that you really should be addressing on every photo that you upload to your profile. So if you are uploading photos to Houzz and you're not including keywords and categories and filling out all those facets, then you're really not serving your work in the best possible way, and they may just be getting lost. So if you haven't gone into the back end of your photos before, I would definitely recommend that you do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I would definitely recommend that you give us a call in our Sydney office and we can definitely help you with that. The next section is easy. This is our Find Professionals section, so the service directory. So you're a professional on Houzz, so you're immediately listed in this directory. People search by type, so category type, and also by location. Where you are placed in this directory and your overall ranking is really affected by how much activity you put into your Houzz profile. So how engaged you are on the platform and within the community will really directly affect where you sit in this section. Then we have products. So in Australia, the product section works very similarly to the photo section. So it's not an e-commerce platform. You don't buy the products off houzz.com.au, but you can browse and search and really discover amazing local makers and brands and designers, as well as some international products as well. So a whole range of different products here, a lot of different subcategories to choose from too. And these are all fantastic because just like the photos, they link you straight back to that brand or designer. We then have our editorial section, which you will find under Stories. So our editorial section is fantastic because all of these stories and all of these articles are written by our in-house editorial team, as well as by professional contributors like yourselves who can write for Houzz. So you can always write for Houzz or contribute or submit ideas for articles straight to our editors, which if you haven't done before and you are interested in, I can definitely point you in the right direction after this session. And another fantastic thing about the editorial section is that every professional photo and project that are featured in these stories has come from the Houzz community. So it really is boosting our own community and boosting the exposure of professionals and designers like yourselves, which is a really cool thing. Then we have the advice section, which is where you'll find all of our Houzz discussions, our polls, before and after posts, a whole range of different discussions that you can jump in on. The example that I have on the screen here is just one example of a design dilemma discussion. It by no means indicates everything that is in this section because there are tens of thousands of different discussions. Fantastic place to get involved in the community, showcase a bit of your expertise. It's a fantastic brand builder as well. So we definitely jump into this advice section if you have not done so already. So each of those layers are so integrated into every single image on the site. So for consumers, for our users, Houzz becomes such an integrated experience because if I'm looking at a photo, I see each of these layers on every single photo. I can see the products behind it, obviously get inspired, contact the professional straight from this photo, read an article that this has been featured in, and ask a question directly to that designer. That's why users love us and also why professionals do as well, because each of these layers becomes such a way for you to really maximize your own exposure. And each of those layers is really going to drive people back to your profile page, which will look something like this, hopefully. So now I'll dive into the steps to maximize your exposure. So specifically through Houzz buttons and badges. Because we know when we're looking at a Houzz profile, so this is another really good example of quite a robust profile on Houzz. There's a whole range of different sections that really you do need to start ticking off to make sure that you are engaged, and just really you are boosting up your own profile. So that's things like the text and photos that I had just highlighted, making sure you have relevant and recent reviews, making sure that your website is linked up, and any other social tools that you use as well, or any other social platforms that you're on. You can always see how strong your profile is by just logging into your profile and then checking out your profile strength widget, which appears on the right-hand side. So I've just highlighted it here, and you can see that there is a little levels bar that just periodically goes up. And under that, you have your profile strength tips, excuse me, that has a couple of different tips that are specific to you and your profile. And these tips are also links. So you can jump onto your profile, click one of these links, and then directly update that section. So when it comes to the badge, adding a Houzz badge to your website will improve the visibility of your work and of your profile on Houzz. And it really does help potential clients find you as well. So there's so many benefits from really just ticking that box and making sure that your Houzz profile is linked up to your to your own website or your personal website. When it comes to this profile strength and how much it will actually build you up, a Houzz badge accounts for 15% of this overall strength. So that's quite a big chunk if you consider there's photos, reviews, all of the text. Another 15% just on the badge is quite large. So it really is worth it, and it really will directly impact how strong and how much your own profile is seen on Houzz. Also, you've spent all this time creating your profile, so you may as well show it off, right? So add the badge to make sure that anyone on your own website that is visiting that site will be able to see all of the other hard work that you've put into your other social platforms. So when we're looking at Houzz badges, and I have a couple of different examples of different Houzz badges and buttons on some various designers' profiles. So when we're looking here, so Art of Kitchens, they have a Houzz badge right up the top right here. You can see it's a grey and white and a round one, which really works with their design. So number one, it's linking back to Houzz, which is great, and not just Houzz, but your profile specifically, which is really important because you want people to have a very easy and direct route straight to your profile and your other work. And also this design that they have chosen is so easy to add into the rest of the design of their website. So it does feel very native on their site. Another example is here, and you can really see that adding a badge will just provide visitors with easy access to your full portfolio, your other reviews that are on your profile, and other involvement that you may have had in maybe editorial or the advice section on Houzz too. So I know that kind of owning your own website and managing your own website can be quite a hefty undertaking. It's quite time consuming. I know websites are quite tricky to upload, often expensive as well if you have to get a third party to help you out. So if you just keep your other social channels updated, like a Houzz profile or maybe your Facebook or whatever else you do manage as well, that then gives people an opportunity to see more recent work and just other things that you've done. So you don't have to be super stressed about constantly updating your website and investing all that time and maybe money into doing so. Easily just update your profile, link it on your website, and then people get a full range of what it is you are doing. It's a really big brand builder, basically. This is another example here on Jodie Cooper's website. You can see that she has a featured on Houzz badge. So we have quite a different range of badges. So you can choose from just the logo, larger or smaller, and also these featured on Houzz badges, which are really fantastic. Jodie has a couple of other badges on her website that you can see as well, just behind the one that I've highlighted. which I will talk about a little bit later too, in terms of the awards and recommendations and the influencer badge too. This is another example of a square one, and we have given the options for grayscale badges too, because I know the green is often not suited to a lot of websites. Just as an overarching tip, the best placement for badges are always in the footer or the header of your homepage. That gives visitors to your website really easy access to your other social platforms. It's easy on the eye, and it's also kind of expected. So if visitors jump onto your website and don't see additional badges on that homepage, it can be a little wary because they just kind of don't have easy access to additional projects and other work that you may have done. So how do you find these? So when you're on houzz.com.au, there's a couple of different places that you may see buttons or badges that will take you to the buttons and badges page. So if you're on the home page, you just need to scroll down to the footer and then click on buttons. Or if you're on any other page or your Houzz profile maybe, just scroll down to the bottom and you just want to click on buttons and badges, and that will take you to this page. So when you're at this page, all you're looking at here is basically the different designs that we have, different design options up here, up the top here, and you can see those ones that I was just showing examples of, like featured on Houzz and the larger and smaller logo. And then down the bottom is just the code. So this code is the unique code that is attaching itself to one of these designs and linking it straight to your Houzz profile. So when we look a bit closer at this, all we need to do is you would jump onto this buttons and badge page and say I just clicked on that first featured on Houzz badge. That is selecting my design, and then that will change this code to make sure that it picks up the featured on Houzz design and it links straight to my Houzz profile. And you can see that the URL is within that code, so it's houzz.com.au/pro/sushi photo, which will make sure that it is going directly to my profile. So this is the code, and as I go through a couple of examples of how we can add this to various websites and various platforms, this is the code that I am always referencing. So applying it to your website, and this doesn't have to be a huge or scary undertaking at all. It can be quite easy. What I have done is shown 3 different examples. So how you can add it to Wix, WordPress, and Squarespace. So these are 3 web hosts that are very popular in Australia, definitely amongst professionals. They're quite easy to use and to update. So that is why I selected them. I apologize if your web tool is not here, but I promise they're very similar. So most sites tend to be quite intuitive, quite user-friendly, so you can apply a lot of these kind of tips and tricks to your other ones as well. Also, specifically for Wix, WordPress, and Squarespace, they do update all the time. So if my screenshots on this presentation are slightly outdated, I do apologize, but it's a very similar process no matter which version. So firstly, going into Wix. So this is a good example of just how you can do it first off. So if you do have a Wix website or whatever website you are using, you just need to first log in to the back end of that website. So same thing if you were logging into your Houzz profile, you just need your username and your password, or your email and your password. Do the same, make sure you're logged into the editing side of things. Then this kind of will change dependent on what template you're using on the Wix website. But Wix is quite user-friendly because you can see on the left-hand side there's the main menu, which just says background, add, app market, my uploads, my blog. So looking at that, it's quite easy to assume, oh, we're going to add something to this page. So that's where I would add a button or a badge. So what you need to do to add the Houzz badge is just click on add. And then on the left-hand side, there's a new sub-menu that has all of these different options of what you could add to this page. So you can add an image, a gallery, a button, a box, a strip, a video, etc. What you're always looking for, no matter what website you're dealing with, is just a place where you can add HTML code. Because that's what we have. We have the code from our Houzz Buttons and Badges page. So we want to make sure that we just have a place to paste in that code. So on that blue menu on the left, I can't see anywhere where it says HTML. So I click on More, which then HTML code is one of those first options. So I click on HTML code. And then all the HTML settings ask me is just to paste the code. So you can see on the right here in the highlighted green box, it says add your code here, paste it here. So I would just take that code that I had got from the Houzz Buttons and Badges page and paste it in here. Once you paste it in there and just click on update, then magically a featured on Houzz button appears, which is great. So then you can see it there, and it's very easy to just move and rearrange this badge as you like. So you can see that just when I clicked on update, it just dropped itself in the center of the page there. But you can then move it around, so I could rearrange it and place it down in the footer where you'll see down the bottom there next to the Facebook and Twitter icons. And that is done. You just click on save, and then your badge is done on your Wix website. The next thing is WordPress. So WordPress is quite easy to use as well. Same thing as before, make sure you are logged in and make sure you're logged into the back end of the website. What you want to do from a Wix website, so I'm just going to look from left to right here. So the first thing on a Wix website is to find where it says themes and then look for customize. And we can see on this left-hand menu as well, we don't want to look at stats, we don't want to look at the plan or the menus. Themes is really where we want to customize an element of the theme. So you click on customize, and then what we're looking for is the option for widgets. So I've just put the arrow to point to the widgets there. And a widget is something that you can insert into your website. So I'll show you a couple of other options for Houzz widgets a little bit later. But right now, this widget section can serve exactly your Houzz badge that you want to add. So we select widget. And then there's an option to just add a widget. So we click add a widget. And then on this right-hand menu here, it's where it says search for widgets. When I'm just looking down this menu, there's nothing that really makes sense because I'm looking for something that has the option for HTML code. So I don't want an About Me widget or an archive or a band page. So I have searched for text, which will bring me up the option that says text, arbitrary text, or HTML, which is exactly on the money. So I selected that one. And then this is very easy. Again, you literally just copy and paste that unique code that we had before, and you paste it in there, and you click on save and publish, and then that is done. And then lastly on Squarespace, just as our third example, so you log into the back end of your Squarespace website again. Then on this left-hand menu here, we want to click into pages, and then click on the home page. Like I said before, having visibility of your social icons on your home page is definitely the best bet for professionals. So I select home from this menu, and then on a Squarespace website, every page has different editable sections. So when you're on a Squarespace website, all you need to look for is just where I've put my arrow at that gray and black little circle with a tail. So you'll see those icons all over Squarespace pages. That is basically where you can edit the page. So I click on one of those circles wherever I want to paste this badge. So I click on that, and then there's an option to insert whatever I like. So just from what's on the screen here, I would be able to edit this page to insert a map or a menu, a calendar, or HTML code. So the code is the option I want. Again, I select code, And the same thing, I copy and paste that code from the Houzz Buttons and Badges website, and I click on apply. Squarespace is just like Wix in the fact that you can rearrange the badge. So once it is kind of plonked into the page, you can then adjust where it has been placed. There's always a save button in the top left, so you click on save, and then that is done. So those are examples. I understand that not everyone is on those 3 websites, but the same rules apply for whatever website you have. So you have this access to the code on the Houzz Buttons and Badges page, and you have access to all the different designs that you like there as well. So you can go to that Houzz Buttons and Badge page, click on the design, copy that code that is unique just to you, and then on whatever website you have, you're just looking for a place where you can edit and insert HTML code. That's kind of the golden rule of it all. I will show you some other options for badges. So Houzz Awards and Houzz Badges, including Best of Houzz, Influencer Recommended, and Photo Saves. So you may have seen a few of these pop up on other people's profiles or maybe your own. Or you may have seen it on other websites, just like I had shown before, Jodie Cooper's website. She had a couple of examples of this there. And these are really cool. So I will explain each of these to you. And this is Jodie's example again. So we can see that not only does she have the featured on Houzz badge, but she has 2 Best of Houzz Design Awards for 2015 and 2016, as well as a recommended badge and an influencer badge. So all of these badges have been awarded to Jodie from Houzz. They've been awarded to her profile. So each of these 4 badges will also appear on her Houzz profile. And once they're on your Houzz profile, they then become options on that Buttons and Badges page. So you're then able to not only have them on your profile, but you can insert them into your website as well. So I'll just explain what they are. Going to start with the Best of Houzz Awards. This is the one that most people get excited about or quite competitive about as well. And you can see on the left-hand side that this professional has a Best of Houzz Design Award up the top and a Houzz badge below, just saying that they have 1K of saves. And I will explain that next. But the Best of Houzz Awards are really fantastic. So these are community-driven awards that are an annual award that's given out by Houzz once a year at the start of the year. So we are just gearing up now for our 2018 awards, and the winners of those will be announced early January. So the cool thing about Best of Houzz for both service and design is that you don't have to be nominated, you don't have to submit anything or do anything like that. Basically, when we're looking for Best of Houzz service and design, we're picking up a couple of key things from the community and from your profile and work in order to see who has won each of these awards. So going into first design, the Best of Houzz Design Award is given out based on photos. So we're looking at photo quality and photo engagement. So the best way to kind of put yourself in the running for these awards, because like I said, it will be announced early January. The best way to put yourself in the running for the Design Award is to upload a recent project with fantastic photos. So we need to see a project that has been uploaded this year that is a project completed in the last 12 months. So it needs to be from the last 12 months. Good photos will always serve you best, or professionally photographed work will always serve you best. On top of that, we're going to look at engagement of those photos. So how many saves to idea books do your photos have? How many questions? Any engagement with editorial, so like any feature of any of those photos in editorial is a huge win and plus as well. So those are kind of all the things that we're looking at in terms of design. When it comes to service, that is all based on customer service, so specifically your reviews. So to kind of go in the running to win Best of Service, you have to have first at least a 4.5 review star rating. So you would see that on your profile by the number of stars that just appear under your company name. If you can't find that or are a bit confused, let us know. We can always point you in the right direction as well. But make sure that you have at least a 4.5 star rating and that you have recent reviews. So again, like the photos, they have to be uploaded and on your profile from the last 12 months because that's what we're looking at. So if you have more questions about the awards, do get in contact with me or with anyone from the team. We can definitely help you out. And like I said, these awards are great because not only do you get sent a whole bunch of other stuff if you win, but the badge immediately goes on your profile and then it also becomes available for you to add this to your own website. A couple of other badges. So just whenever Best of Houzz Design and Service. What we also have is recommended, photo saves, influencer, star houser, and the 5-star houser. And these are a lot easier to get than the Best of Houzz ones. So first for recommended, you will get awarded this badge if you have at least 5 reviews with an average of 4 stars or higher on your Houzz profile. The photo saves are awarded starting at 5. So we're looking at one photo and how many saves that photo has into other people's idea books. So starts at 5, goes to 10, it goes all the way up to 1 million. So you will see that be updated on your profile as well. We then have influencer. So the influencer is a great one and it's quite easy to get, especially for you guys that are seeing these kind of tips and tricks behind the badges. You will be awarded this influencer if you participate in at least 10 discussions. Idea book comments do not count. So you will get awarded that if you just jump into that advice section, comment at least 10 times. The star houser is awarded to pros who post a review for another Houzz pro. So if anyone is on Houzz that you've collaborated with, you've worked with, definitely try and post a review for them. It will be great because one, you will get this Star Houser award and more than likely they're going to review you back as well. We also have the 5-star Houser, which is if you posted 5 reviews to 5 different Houzz professionals as well. And just to show you, when I am awarded each of these badges, they then just become available design options on this Houzz Buttons and Badge page. And you add these to your website in the exact same process, click on the design, copy and paste the code into the HTML section of your website. Lastly, we not only have all of these Houzz badges that I've been talking about, but we also have other things like widgets, buttons, and tabs. So all of these are available on the exact same page, so the Houzz Buttons and Badge page. So you'll see them if you just go to the page and keep scrolling down. So we have slideshow widgets, review widgets, a Facebook page tab, and buttons. So if I just start with the Houzz slideshow, so the slideshows are great because there's 3 different options, and this is basically just inserting a little slideshow into your website. So there's 3 different options. Starting from the left, we have a professional profile widget. So this one is basically just giving people a preview of your profile. So they're just going to click through a couple of photos that are on your Houzz profile, almost to just entice them to then visit your other profile to check out more of what you're doing on Houzz. In the middle, we have image search. So this is a fantastic slideshow widget to add to your website if it's looking a little bit bare, or if you don't have any recent photos, or maybe no projects that are professionally photographed yet. This is a fantastic widget to include on your website to just show the type of work that you would like to do or that you aspire to do, or the kind of aesthetic that is in line with yours. So as you can see just under that green button, it says that you can display specific photos that are based on keywords and categories. So you can say search for eclectic bedrooms, and then this will be a slideshow of eclectic bedrooms. You can see just down the bottom right of the image search photo, it does have the credit to the professional whose work it actually is though as well. Lastly, on the right, we have featured stories. So this is an editorial widget. So you can display the latest stories, one that you maybe wrote or you were featured in. You can then insert this into your website, which is a fantastic amount of additional exposure as well. If you were featured in any article or story on Houzz, I would definitely include this in your website because it's a huge publication. There's a lot of exposure. So it is an asset to your website. And when you have selected which slideshow you would like, this pops up. And all you need to do here is then just select the size that you would like. And then the next step is literally just a code, which again, you copy paste into your website. Moving on to the Houzz review widget. So this is fantastic. If you are receiving a lot of reviews on your Houzz profile, this is a fantastic thing to then insert into your website. So people have a little preview of your top or your most recent testimonials. And then they can always click the read more to read the full review on your Houzz profile page. So what you can do here is you select the review widget, and then you have two options. You can either show your most recent highly rated reviews, or you can choose which reviews you want. So if you have a couple of favorites, you can always select those, and they will just insert themselves into this widget. Then you can see it just has your review widget code. That is the exact code that you need to copy paste into your website. Then we have our Houzz Facebook page tab, and we also have a Houzz button for your website. I'll just talk about the button first. This is a fantastic button that you can basically add to your website, and it will allow your website visitors to add photos of products and spaces straight from your website into their idea books. Very cool. If you are already collaborating with your clients using Houzz and using idea books, this is a fantastic addition to just add to your website to make sure when you're collaborating on idea books, saving photos in there, that they could also have the option to go straight to your website and add more of your photos from there into your shared idea book. Then going into the Facebook page tab, the Facebook page tab is fantastic because it will basically link your Houzz profile and your Facebook business profile as well. And what it does, it gives your Facebook page a mini Houzz profile. So it will sync over all of your projects, your idea books, your discussions, and your reviews and place themselves in your Facebook page. So you can see this example on the left, the Houzz page is about halfway down on the menu. And when people are opening any of your projects, when it does show the enlarged photo, that will open on Houzz. So that ensures that your photos are still always protected. So even though they're showing on Facebook, your photos aren't being right-clicked and saved, or they're not going to be able to be dragged onto a desktop or anything like that. They're always kind of protected within your Houzz profile. Another example here is just on Martha's Facebook. You can see her Houzz tab is just the fourth option along. And again, it's just like a mini profile on your Facebook. Lastly, before I do wrap up, I did just want to talk about Pro Plus quickly, as because you are webinar attendees or event attendees, we always do give our event attendees a special discount on the program. So I did want to talk about this because it is valid until the end of the month, and it is a really fantastic package. And you're obviously very engaged in the platform already. So this is just another really fantastic step up to ensure you're getting the most out of Houzz. So Pro Plus is our exclusive marketing program that is not offered to all professionals, but basically it guarantees you more exposure in the certain categories and certain areas that you want. So if you are working in the inner west, but you want more work and more exposure in the eastern suburbs, that's something that Pro Plus can help you do. We can push your work, your photos, your name in front of our users that are looking in the eastern suburbs and that are looking for photos like yours and professionals like you. So there's a couple of different really cool features of a Pro Plus package. They're all custom built, but you do get all of these features for whatever package you do build up. The sponsored photos are really important because, like I mentioned earlier, the photo stream is actually where our users are spending the most amount of time. So we know that. So we make sure that your photos look fantastic, that they are pushed in front of the right audience that is looking for relevant searches just like yours and your work. And your photos come with a whole range of different features, click-throughs, call to action buttons, a byline as well. You get enhanced directory placement in our Find Pros directory that I showed earlier. And this is the best way to guarantee more impressions and more exposure from our Find Pros directory, because it is guaranteed. And like I've been saying during this webinar, all of your engagement and activity does directly impact how much exposure you get on Houzz, but this is a way to actually guarantee that exposure. You also get enhanced exposure across our mobile app. Also, direct placement ads in our newsletter that goes out twice a week that has all of our Houzz editorial most recent stories. You get access to heaps of really deep analytics, which is fantastic. If you're particularly interested in how many profile clicks, impressions, and photo by photo clicks and impressions as well, this is something that will give you access to all of that. You also get a lovely account manager who will guide you across this whole program. That will explain everything out to you and is your go-to for the whole course of the program. And they can explain all the analytics and all of that too. If you are interested, do know that you have a discount on this until the end of the month. So do let me know any questions, or if you did want to chat to someone about this to just kind of work out if it would be a fit for you, do let me know. And also just let us help. So what I've got on the screen, just lastly, is a link to the calendar of our Sydney office. So our support and marketing team have their calendars in this calendar link right here. And you can basically just book in a time with a consultant. That could be specifically about the badge or about your profile. If you are struggling with the badge, you just want someone to do it for you, that's exactly what they can do. They can add it to your website for you, or they could guide you through how to do it. They can also give you some specific tips on how to improve your profile, make sure that it is really working hard for you. And also, if you had any Pro Plus questions, this would be the best link as well to follow and just book in a time. Every consult is complimentary as well, so there is no fee about any of these calls too. So that is it for me. I will send later today a recording of this webinar, as well as a couple of other resources that I touched on that I think would be very helpful just as a follow-up to this. So thank you for joining. Have a lovely afternoon.